So I'm really enjoying the conversations that are happening on my Discord server, and we got to well, the original question wasn't even related to this, but eventually, because all things sort of lead to the same resolution, we got to talking about happiness. And so, what is happiness? Um, in order for us to be happy, we have to know what happiness is, right? It's a state of mind, okay, but maybe it's feeling good. So I have my dog with me here, right? When I pet my dog, it feels really, really good, right? So is this happiness? But then that means my dog will always and only be a source of happiness for me, right? But what if my dog gets sick? What if my dog bites me? What if my dog has a terminal illness? What if my dog shits all over the floor? What if my dog throws up and in the most inconvenient place? So my dog being here is making me somewhat happy, makes me feel good, but that doesn't mean that the dog is responsible for all of my happiness, right? The dog isn't a unilaterally a thing that provides happiness. It can provide a lot of other things as well. So, then, also, what if I, lose my dog? Then the memories, the happy memories of my dog will be reminders that I don't have my dog with me anymore, right? So, okay, then maybe happiness is money, right? Because with money you can afford a lot of things that make your life easy and have more quality of life. Okay, but money isn't guaranteed to always be around, right? So that means now your happiness is contingent on money, and same with the career and things like that. Okay, so that's fine, right? So it's fine to define happiness under specific circumstances. It's fine to say happiness is having a lot of money. It's fine to say happiness is having two kids. It's fine to say happiness is being single and being free, away from your parents. Happiness can be living with your parents. Okay, but uh, I. So the thing is, you have to do the work in defining what happiness means for you, because ultimately, if you're watching this channel, if you're watching my videos, you're interested in happiness. That also means you're interested in not suffering. I tend to attract people who are suffering because I happen to be pretty good at relieving suffering. Okay, so from that perspective, right? Of course, you have to do the work in finding your happiness, but I want to give you kind of a, in case you want like a solid starting point, right? I need to, I need to reiterate this. This is a starting point. This isn't your end destination. This is just one guy telling you something, okay? Um, it's your work. It's your responsibility to make this your internal work. So I'm gonna give you the starting point of what happiness means. So, happiness lives in conjunction with suffering, like I just mentioned, right? So, my dog, the more I attach to my dog, the more likely that I am going to suffer, right? So, if I'm truly happy, that means that state of happiness, true happiness, deep true happiness, it cannot coexist with suffering, right? So, I could have some additional addendum to the state of not suffering, and that could still count as happiness. But there's a certain line where if I am suffering, that state already means that I am not happy. So we're kind of negatively defining happiness. Happiness means I'm not suffering. And so, if I have a lot of money, right, then I'm supposed to be happy, right? But I have a lot of money, and because of that, my family members start fighting over my money. And because I have a lot of money, people start to take advantage of me. People only hit me up when they need to, get a hookup with money or something, right? I have a good career, so that's supposed to make me happy, but because of it, I have to work very long hours and I need to prove my worth before I get fired. And that accrues a lot of stress, right? So, because of that, I wouldn't classify it as true happiness, because if you're truly happy, being truly happy cannot coexist with suffering. So, that's a sort of a simple binary kind of a definition to get you started. Now, is it possible for you to go into stressful situation? Is it possible for you to be in a lot of physical pain in a happy state of mind? Would that count as suffering for you? So for example, suppose you have type 1 diabetes. Suppose you have eczema like me. Would that, all the itching and all the, inability to, digest sugar by yourself, and suppose you have IBS, you need to shit all the time, and your stomach hurts constantly. You have Crohn's disease, or you broke your leg, you broke your arm, or you had your arm amputated, or you got a face disfigured because a dog bit you. These are like all things I see on Instagram, right? So when you have those things, is happiness prevented for you? Can you never be happy in those states? Or is it possible for you to be happy in those states? Would you classify those kind of ailments as suffering or not? That's up to you to explore. But I'm giving you a baseline where you can get started with. Is this guy saying the truth? Or is he saying some bullshit that I can disprove? I want that to be the starting point, right? So, with that starting point, I want to give you just a little bit of Buddhist theory. And the little bit of Buddhist theory is conditional happiness and basically anything that is conditional and conditioned versus aconditioned. It's completely independent of anything. And the professional word for it, well, I'm lucky because I'm a Korean guy and the terms are super easy, but this is the term. Well, you can't see it because of my camera. Samskrita. So, this is translated as conditioned, compounded, composite, etc. is a term that describes all impermanent phenomena. That is, all phenomena that are produced through causes and conditions, have the nature of arising, remaining, and ceasing, and are subsumed by the 5 aggregates. If you don't know what 5 aggregate means, a little bit more theory work for you. But the counterpoint to this is asamkta, which is unconditioned, uncompounded. It refers to dharma that is not conditioned. It is not created through causes and condition. Therefore, it is not subject to arising, dwelling, and ceasing. Now, when I refer to happiness, it is important that you know that I am referring to unconditional happiness. And whatever you want to do with this information, maybe you want to read up a little bit more on Buddhist theory, maybe you want to explore what that actually means for your life with the current suffering that you have, with the current happiness you have. But I think in this video I provide a sufficient enough of a starting point for you. So, happiness. What does it mean for you? Is it conditional or is it aconditional? What does unconditional happiness even mean? Physical pain and psychological stress. Would you classify all of those as suffering? What is suffering? These are the pretty much the only things that you need to really, really, really care about in your life. And the rest are just kind of distractions, in my opinion.